Hi, this is Kevin, one of the Climbing Flow coaches, and today we'll be recording the 13th podcast for Climbing Flow. And today I'll be interviewing Siebe Vanhee. He's a Belgian big wall climber known for some of his ascents like Riders in the Storm. And he's been playing on the Dawn Wall as well a couple of times. He loves his big walling and he loves trying hard. From the get-go, we start a conversation, and I actually forgot to introduce him. Um, just got carried away talking to him. So I'll let you listen to the podcast, and at some point, about 20 minutes in, you'll find that Siebe reminds me I forgot to introduce him. So it's a bit of a late introduction, but I'll let you listen. Hope you enjoy. So how
Nice.
are you?
Good, very good.
Yeah, thank you
Yeah.
for taking the time to talk.
Yeah, no worries. Happy
Yeah.
to talk always. It's crazy how popular the podcasts are these days. Many, yeah.
Yeah, I guess it's
I-
I don't know. I guess it depends what people want to talk about, but I think it's always quite interesting to. I think for I quite like talking to people. I quite liked trying to find out what goes on in their minds and their mindset, and I guess what makes them tick.
Exactly. Yeah, I know for sure. No, I really like it as well. It's a way of creating some more profound interaction and sharing some more real messages compared to
Yeah,
just a short article or Instagram reels or whatever,
yeah,
So yeah. I'm
yeah,
actually I'm actually currently it's really funny you sent me this email. Like I'm currently working on what I will call the climbing mental awareness series.
yeah.
It's
Okay.
like a video series I'm recording with the Flow Center, Cameron Northworthy. I
Yeah,
don't know if you know him. He's the like Hazel Finley. She followed her courses there about mental training and coaching
yeah.
many years ago, and I'm working a little bit with him on this kind of like little series about mental health in climbing. Yeah,
Mental
uh,
health and climbing.
yeah, and everything that has to do with vulnerability and authenticity, and yeah, it's pretty. Like yesterday, I did the first recording, so we're still working on it. It's still a bit like tryouts, and but we'll see how it goes. But
Yeah. Okay.
yeah, when you sent me this
Email
email, I was like, oh wow, you guys are on the
level.
same level, same pace, and same interests. It's
Yeah.
pretty cool. Mm.
Yeah, I mean, climbing's like I guess the way that I see climbing is I think 80% of it is in your head and
Yes.
you do need strength and technique and stuff, but
Hmm.
I think it's one of those aspects that people maybe don't know how to train. Maybe it puts people in a vulnerable position. Um, it's one of the aspects that people feel less likely to want to work on.
Hmm.
Um, I think people find it easier to get stronger and to learn technique. I think working on your head game makes you, yeah, look at yourself, and
Hmm.
it can make you feel uncomfortable.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. For sure, it's definitely a quite a harsh mirror sometimes
Yeah,
um, for yeah your mindset, your reactions, your personality.
yeah,
Uh, yeah.
yeah, and yeah, it's uncomfortable, isn't it? It's yeah, you have to look at yourself and look at your inner workings. And I think I guess I'm a climber and look at the perspective in climbing, but it's so transferable to everyday life, right?
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. I mean, it's something like with every sport. At the same time, it's like a mirror, for your behaviors and your way of approaching problems and everything. But at the same time, climbing is so complete as well that it's so valuable as a mirror, I think, to
Yeah.
reflect a bit your behaviors and your way to deal with. yeah, frustration and also relations. And yeah,
Yeah.
that's the cool thing about climbing. It's very complete. Yeah.
Yeah. So what's the series called that you're working on? I think you
For the moment,
mentioned.
I call it the mental awareness series. So it's the we call it the climbing mess,
Okay.
MES. Yeah.
The
Um,
mental awareness series. Okay.
yeah. I mean, it's nothing. It's not existing yet. I'm like still. It's still in creation. I have every week now a call with Cameron, and it's he was my coach for like 3 years.
Yeah.
And so he went through my whole process, trying the downwall and even personal stuff like girlfriends and trying to deal with pro climbers life and pressure with sponsors and all that stuff. So yeah, and with that I was like sometimes sharing stuff on Instagram and people really reacted like super positive on
Yeah.
this. This one story just saying I had an off day and that I sometimes struggle with depression and like I mean it's a family thing as well. I think it's a genetic thing.
What's
And
that?
sorry.
What's that? What's the family thing?
Yeah, I think it's a little bit of a genetic thing as well, like being easier depressed, and I mean, it's
Okay.
a chemical thing as well. I mean, I can see it in my family as well, like
Yeah.
with my mother, my brother, my sister, and I just shared a short a picture with a few words, on the story, and it was like seeing like 16,000 views, and I had like 70 comments or like personal messages about this, and I'm like, whoa, like Jesus, the climbers, they kind of want to hear this somehow,
Yeah. Yeah.
breaking taboo. And that really made me like, okay, now I really need to commit for this like mental awareness series because, yeah, it's really something that the climbing community can benefit from, I think.
Yeah. I guess especially I guess being someone as a climber being in the limelight. Um,
Mhm.
I guess a lot of people may see someone who's performing at a high level as someone who maybe doesn't struggle with stuff. And I guess we tend to put people who are more well known on a pedestal and think, right, they're at that level because they have no struggles.
Mhm.
And I think if when people are open and honest, generally is quite well received.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's relatable, isn't it? People can relate to you as a person, as a human being, not as a performance athlete.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Exactly.
because
Yeah, I think that's yeah, that's exactly what it is and what triggers people in reacting so much and being really appreciative and
yeah,
they're like, wow, okay, you also have this, or wow, I didn't expect this from you. And it's funny because I mean, my friends, my really good friends, they're like, I don't know, they go climbing in a gym and they meet someone and they say they're a really, really good friend of mine, and those people are like that they meet, they're like, wow, you're a friend of Siebe, wow, that's amazing, and they're like laughing because I'm just this very normal friend for them, they're like, what the fuck, like. And then I
yeah,
see them again, and they're like, "Man, you got somehow more famous in the last 2 years or something." People get crazy when I say I know you.
yeah,
I'm like,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
"No, man. I mean, it's really the whole Instagram thing, and it really sometimes blows up a little bit too much." Um, but at the same time, I mean, I understand it's kind of. I mean, it's kind of nice to see people sharing big projects and performances and nice images, and
yeah,
it's like you say, like pro climbers have been put on a pedestal in general. And um, but yeah, it's for me, it's kind of the motivation behind this series and to be a bit more transparent
yeah,
is that I really see a tendency in general in climbing that is very like hard skin. You need to always be motivated, you need to always go for it,
yeah,
really go hard, like even rain is not an excuse anymore to chill and take a rest day. You need to go out. You need to be a tough guy, a
yeah,
tough woman, a tough girl, and
yeah,
you always push it. And if it rains, you train. You like, and that's cool. It's cool to have this motivation. And it's so nice to be so yeah energetic about it and positive about it. But at the same time, I think it's not only that. There is a lot of off days as well. There's a lot of doubts, there's a lot of fear, and no one really talks about it.
Yeah.
And people start to talk about it more. And I was just in the US for a month and a half, and I can see, yeah, there is a lot more like about vulnerability in the US. They're a lot more,
Yeah.
I mean, advanced, or like they give a lot of attention to the topics. And at the same time, it can become a little bit dramatic or like too negative as well. So I know
Yeah.
also people that are like, oh, all this sensitive bullshit. Why don't we just keep fucking climbing? It's fun. It's a sport.
Yeah.
Don't start with all this overthinking and existential crises. And I'm like, yeah, I mean, it doesn't have to be all negative either, or all like complaining. You don't want to fall into a complaining trap, but I think it has to be realistic, and
Yeah.
we have to be honest and vulnerable and authentic about the fact that it's not only motivation. And even it
Yeah.
rains, I go climb, and I climb on wet rock, and I go hard for it, and like, yeah, look at, like, it's like it's not only that.
Yeah, but I guess being in the limelight comes with pressures, right? If I guess if you're a sponsored athlete, I guess there's a pressure, whether I don't know that's self-induced or whether that's the pressure that you feel that you need to keep producing. I guess, yeah, it comes with the pressure to perform and to keep performing.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah, of course. I mean, exactly what you say. Like, it's I know which word you used, self-induced. Yeah, like it's
yeah,
definitely part of that. I mean, I come from a family where it was all about, yeah, performing or proving that you're good enough at school, proving that you're doing right, that you're recognized by people as well. It's also about looking good. I mean, not physically, but like being a good person, but also being not known but recognized. And yeah, so it's definitely the pressure I feel in climbing is definitely self-induced for a big part of it. But it's
yeah,
also just, yeah, sponsors, they they support you, and they ask you things, but it's always hard to feel like, okay, am I going the right path? Do I do enough? What's my
yeah,
value? So it's very uncertain, actually,
yeah,
um, being a sponsored climber. Like nowadays, it's a bit better. There's a little bit more feedback already from the brands toward the athletes,
yeah.
but I think it's still, I mean, there's still a big gap. You still don't always know at the end of your contract, like, where am I at?
Yeah,
Are
yeah,
you
yeah. Okay, yeah.
are you gonna give me more, or are you gonna give me less? Are you gonna fire me? Like,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay.
it's very
That
insecure.
uncertainty.
There's very uncertain still, yeah. Mhm.
Yeah. So do you make your I guess there's a couple of things I want to talk about. Do you make your money from being sponsored? Do the brands pay you? And I guess if they pay you, I guess that comes with an external pressure, right? If you
Exactly, yeah. So how it works is, um, the brands nowadays, they give you most of the time a 3-year contract.
yeah,
You can also have a 1-year contract, of course, but that's not very long term. In 1 year, many things can happen. You can get
yeah,
injured, expedition can go wrong, it's all bad weather, you have to return. I mean, 1 year is, there's not many sponsors who do that. And maybe as a tryout with some young athletes, you can have a 1-year contract, but
yeah,
quite often you go to a 3-year contract, and you're paid in this contract. There's like a fixed fee, and it's mostly yearly, like for example 5K per year or
yeah,
10K. And then maybe there's some travel budget, maybe there's some other extra budget for production stuff, film production. um, but then, yeah, at the end of the 3 years, there's an evaluation like 3-4 months before,
yeah,
and you have to kind of renegotiate your contract. Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, and then I guess they don't have a tick list, right? They don't have a list of what you need to be able to do.
It kind of depends. If you're like a comp athlete, maybe there is, like, you say like, I want to do the World Cup season. Yeah, then the tick list is very clear. Look, this
Yeah,
is my World Cup season. I'm trying to get into the finals every World Cup, or I'm trying to get a podium, or trying to win. Of course, everyone wants to win. But it's very black and white, like,
yeah,
and it's somehow very easy. If you're more of an outdoor climbing athlete like I am, or adventurous
Yeah,
climbing athlete, then it's a lot about proposing projects, a lot about yeah, what kind of movies did you produce, what kind of festivals did you speak. Um,
yeah,
you can actually see it as like one third performance, one third social media, and then one third traditional media and all that kind of stuff. Yeah,
yeah. Okay.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
a bit.
So I guess you got to be fairly good at doing, I guess, social media, right? And
Yeah,
I guess there are a lot of climbers out there that aren't very good at social media.
no, no, yeah. I mean, honestly, I think for me it was a big struggle as well for a long time. And now I have my brother-in-law, or
Yeah.
like my ex-brother-in-law. They separate, but he helps me with my Instagram. Yeah,
Okay,
so
cool.
yeah, that's pretty nice. And it's cool because not many people know it. And it's been since 2 years that he does that. But
Okay.
that's the good thing, you know, like he helps me, but at the same time, it's still me sending the right messages, writing.
Yeah.
It's just the only thing you can maybe notice that is the music. He chooses the music. I don't even bother by listening. I never put the sound on Instagram. Never. Uh,
Don't you?
I fucking hate it.
Do
Like
you?
all these different songs. It's too much input, and well, I can't stand it. I can't. Honestly, I'm a bad Instagram person. I don't scroll much. Uh,
Okay. Yeah. That's good, right? That's
I
good
know
for
it's
today's
good. Yeah,
society.
sometimes stories or something, but I definitely don't really look at reels.
Yeah.
Um, Sometimes I'm like, shit, it's my job. I need to check Instagram, and I'm like,
Yeah, yeah,
oh
yeah,
no, I
yeah.
don't want to.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's really
Yeah.
funny.
So like you were talking about the pressure, or we were talking about the pressure to perform as an athlete. Um And I guess you were talking about I guess family pressures to like focus on results and I guess comes in society, doesn't it? Like in society, everything is focused around results. Where we go to school and it's about exams and I guess being brought up in Belgium, you do exams in when you go to secondary school, you do exams in December and June time, so two sets of exams for every subject,
Mhm,
usually about 13 subjects. So with that comes pressure, right, to perform. And if you don't get the right results, then you have to resit the year. That's
mhm.
right, isn't it? So and then we go to work and everything's about like making money and results and like the whole of society, like for example, we go and climb, if we go and climb Everest, if we don't get to the top, like we haven't achieved the result. So like the whole of society is geared towards achieving something. And if we don't achieve that, then I guess we're a failure. Or we're perceived to be a failure, yet we forget sometimes we completely forget the process of learning. Like
Mhm,
when you first learned to ride a bike, how many times did you fall off, right?
mhm.
And you still get back on and try, right?
Indeed, and I mean I completely agree. And there is also a whole. I mean, we know that it's in the end not about performing. We know it rationally. We
Yeah,
know that it's about results. That it doesn't. It's not the results that make you a beautiful person. You know, it's how you interact with people. It's your values. It's this makes you a beautiful person. I think like or what you yeah what you do with society, how you approach others. At the same, we know all this, but it's still there is still this kind of need from every individual himself or herself to perform. I have the feeling, like
okay.
to need to like be recognized, or the idea in our head, you know,
Yeah,
it's still there. Like we kind of and I think it's just a cultural thing. Huh? We like got it from it's exactly what you say, like exams at school, and like I mean, it's so structurally included in our society that it's very hard to yeah get out of that as well. I mean,
yeah,
just simply working somewhere, you have to. Yeah, definitely. If you go into the corporate world, you have to perform, you have to
Yeah.
get your targets. You're like, I mean, I think it's maybe a little different if you're in a social sector working with people, but in general, yeah, there's always a very performance or merit minded. Um,
Yeah. There's an American psychologist called Carol Dweck, and she did an experiment with a group of people. So she gave them a test to do, and she divided the group into two. And she got the results back for these two groups, and one group was encouraged for the results, and one group was encouraged for the effort they put in. Then she asked both groups, if they wanted to do easier or a harder test. The group that was encouraged for results, they chose a easier test. The group that was encouraged for effort chose a harder test. Now, she then gave the same difficulty of test to both groups again, and the group that was encouraged for results performed worse than the group that was encouraged for effort.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, their mindset is completely different. Their
Yeah.
approach is like, okay, I'm just gonna learn. It doesn't matter. And the others is like, I need to get the result now because I chose the easy test.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Well, yeah, they're anxious, right? So you create anxiety by focusing on results. Yeah.
Indeed. It's incredible how we have been talking, now, 20 minutes without really introducing ourselves.
Yeah, well, yeah, so well, yeah, sorry. We can do the introduction, right? So let's start the introduction, and then what I'll do is I'll change it around, or I'll leave it as it is.
I mean,
Uh
I don't care. It's just funny that we don't know each other and we're just like, boom, jumping straight
Get
into
straight in there. Yeah.
this
I think
subject.
I get told a lot by people I'm quite intense. So I
Yeah,
don't I struggle with everyday chit chat.
yeah,
So
yeah.
I like to get deep into things fairly quickly, and I
Uh-huh.
think not everyone feels comfortable with that. So
I think we're at the same pace there.
yeah.
That's probably why we continue for 20 minutes
Yeah.
straight into the deeper subjects.
So let me then do the introduction, right? I'm Kevin from Climbing Flow. This is the Climbing Flow podcast, and today we have Siebe Vanhee as a guest. Siebe's known for his hard big walling ascents. So basically, Siebe likes to suffer. That sounds about right, doesn't it?
Sounds about right. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, yeah. And you are Belgian.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm from Belgium, but I live in
So,
France now. Yeah,
were you born in the Flemish part or the French-speaking part?
in the Flemish part. Ja.
Ah, dus jij spreekt Nederlands.
Ik spreek Nederlands. Jij ook?
Ja, ik ook, ja. So just for all the listeners, I'm just going to talk a little bit of Dutch. So just don't mind me. Ja, mijn ouders die zijn Nederlands. En ik was in België geboren en in Morsel, in Wilrijk geboren en in België gewoond tot ik 15 was. En dan naar Engeland verhuisd.
Oh my, dus jij spreekt perfect Nederlands.
Ja, maar ik ben grotendeels van het Nederlands vergeten.
Valt nog wel mee, precies. En ik hoor zelfs uw accent.
Ja,
Van Wilrijk.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Cool. Yeah.
Nice,
So
that's
we'll
great.
continue. We'll continue in English, otherwise no one's going to understand what we're talking about.
It would be really weird. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So, oh, that's cool. Um, so you were where were you born, or where's your hometown?
My hometown is Leuven. It's
Okay.
near Brussels, so it's really close to Brussels and to the French-speaking part as well. So when I was a kid, I always went to Brussels climbing and also in the French speaking part. So I learned French quite quick. When I
Yeah,
was 14, I think I spoke some French.
yeah. Yeah, I mean the level of French that's taught in Belgium is super high, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I think
Uh,
there's a yeah. There's I mean most of the people in the south of the north part,
Yeah,
so around Brussels, we all speak. I mean, everyone speaks French, or most of us.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, I think when I moved to the UK, the level of French that was taught here is quite low.
Mm,
But I
I know.
guess everyone speaks English, right?
Of course. Everyone always speaks English. It's easy.
Yeah, yeah. So Leuven is the hometown of Stella, isn't it? Stella Artois.
Exactly, Stella Artois, and they apparently they call it the wife beater.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, I've no.
UK.
Yeah, I don't know why. I don't
It's
drink
horrible
Stella.
because it's not even a very strong beer. It's like 4.8%.
Yeah, I mean the Belgians they do like strong beers, right? I think they've got. I think the strongest beer is Duvel.
Yeah, it's one of the stronger. Yeah, but it's
Yeah,
definitely stronger than that. I think there's 13 degrees,
yeah,
13%
yeah,
uh, alcohol in one of the beers as well.
yeah. Okay. Yeah. See, when I first came to the UK, um, so in Belgium, like you have a glass that comes with every beer. So every beer has its individual glass. And
Indeed.
when they pour it, it's a nice small looking glass, and you get a nice white head of foam on it. In England, you get like a vase, a big vase, and they pour beer in it, and usually you don't get a head on it. So I remember the first time I drank beer here, I was like holding this big thing, thinking, what is that?
It's really yeah. Oh, it's most of the time served too warm and oh no, yeah.
Yeah,
I'm not a
yeah,
fan.
yeah. So when you go away climbing, big walling and stuff, any food you miss from Belgium?
Nah, not really. I'm quite easy with food, honestly. Of
Okay.
course, I like my French fries, like the Belgian fries, like now and then, just greasy, dirty potatoes in like fried potatoes, I love it. Yeah, just really
Yeah.
good. A lot of
We,
ketchup and mayonnaise.
ketchup and mayonnaise.
Of course.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not just mayonnaise.
No, no, both.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. Cool. Cool. So let's get into it. So when did you start climbing?
Yeah, I started climbing when I was 8 years old, actually. The first time I did this summer camp in a climbing gym.
Yeah.
And it was just from 9 to 5 every weekday during a week, just
Yeah.
like climbing in a gym, but also games and this kind of stuff. And it was kind of funny because after 1 week, like I told my parents that I really loved this and I really wanted to do only that. So
Yeah.
from then on, during a year and a half, they sent me every school vacation to one of these weeks. It
Okay.
was always the same activities, the same gym. It was nothing different, but I just loved it so much.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, and then from when I was 10, I started really climbing in a team. That was a little climbing team, like very very basic. We were like six in the start. Now it's a real big climbing team. But in the beginning, we were just six little kids
Okay.
climbing and training twice a week on
Yeah.
Wednesday, on Saturday, and then yeah, after a while, I started going even after school and just got my bike when I was 12, 13 years old and drove after school to the climbing gym. And I spent, I don't know, half an hour doing my homework at the bar.
Yeah.
Uh, and then between all the guys that were drinking beers after work, I was doing my homework in a corner, da, 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 and then I went to train a little bit, and by 8 I went back home. Yeah, that was a bit my rhythm.
Yeah. Okay. So what was it that you liked about climbing?
I I don't know. I just what I remember is me hanging on to holds and fighting really hard, and I think that's what I liked.
Okay.
Just like fighting and achieving and doing better and trying to really like I don't know, yeah, reaching the sending routes. I don't know. I really liked it, like the challenge and I can't really remember like, oh, it's the moves or whatever. No, I think it's more the effort that I really liked.
Yeah,
And another thing, another aspect of climbing, and that's more like the community side. It's like, yeah, the people and yeah, and the lifestyle. Yeah, it was very laid back as well, and
yeah,
everyone approached me very positive and gave me a lot of support and encouraged me. And I think this is something what I really loved about the climbing community and the gym, for example. Like the gym was so, yeah, it was so fun.
yeah,
Um, Very dreamy as well. Like people talking about rock climbing and like it's like my world was this climbing gym, but then like wow, we can also go outside to the Ardennes and we go to France with the climbing team and I want to do my first 8A and like I don't know, it was very supportive, so very yeah, very positive world actually. Yeah.
yeah. Okay, yeah. I guess, did you ever do any other sports apart from climbing?
Yeah, well, I think when I was 10 years old or 11, I dropped all the other sports. I did some basketball, I did some circus, like trapeze,
Okay,
uh,
cool.
stuff like that, juggling, the unicycle. I even
Oh,
did
did you?
unicycle basketball.
Okay.
So
Wow.
it's doing basketball with a unicycle. Like so, everyone is on the unicycle. Like it's pretty cool. I did that for 1 year when I was like 11 or something, 12. Uh,
Crazy Belgian sport.
Yeah, oh yeah, it's fucking hilarious. I don't know who invented that, but it's really funny.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, few other things, but nothing like I did some gymnastics as well, but
yeah.
not so long. Uh, yeah.
And did you, I guess, do you find that the climbing community is more supportive and not so, um, I don't know. What's the different aspects that you see in the climbing community that you don't see in other sports?
I think back then it was very little, um, how do you say, there were very little boundaries in the climbing, or like there was very little rules of the game or something. You could quite invent a lot of your rules. I mean, it was very simple. You start climbing down low, and you go up, and you try not to fall.
Yeah,
And yeah, I mean, the hours spent in the climbing gym were free, like quite free. It's not like, okay, now we have to do this, now we have to do that. Like
yeah,
basketball was like a fixed training, or circus was like a fixed training, and there it was. It's more, yeah, you're somehow more creative. And what am I gonna do? I'm gonna do volume. I do a lot of routes. I'm gonna do bouldering. I'll do just one boulder during 1 hour. I don't know. There were all these. I think there's a lot of creativity involved in climbing as well, and a lot of personal connections. And another thing is like it wasn't really like just me and uh my how do you call it, my peers or the kids of my same age. It was like an engineer from 35 years old. There was a plumber from 25 years old. It was like it's people from all social, with all social backgrounds, all
yeah,
ages, all together in the gym and climbing together, and you learn so much.
yeah, 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 yeah. I find, I know, I think, I hope people don't take offense to this, but I think like climbing does attract quite a lot of nerdy people.
Hmm.
It definitely attracts a certain mindset, like definitely like a problem-solving mindset. I have noticed, especially when you get into trad climbing, you definitely have a lot of engineers or scientists, the kind of people that are attracted to kind of problem-solving jobs.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. I mean,
you
there's
do
a
get
lot of
other
problem
people. I'm not
solving.
saying it's just those kind of people, but I see a lot of engineers and stuff kind of that are attracted to it.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah. That's what I like about climbing. It's very, in the end, it's very diverse as well because you've like now you say trad climbing, but there's also sport climbing, there's bouldering, there's multi pitching, there's big walling, there's
Yeah.
alpine climbing. You got alpinism. There's so many different disciplines, but it all starts quite quick with the same activity, and that's from down going up. And like it's
Yeah,
very easy to meet each other in a climbing gym. If you're an alpinist, you also climb a little bit. If you're a
yeah,
boulder, of course you climb. If you're a multi-pitcher, like you're also in the gym, you know, like so. Yeah, it's very diverse somehow. Yeah.
yeah. So what disciplines in climbing do you do?
Yeah, I'm mainly, I think what I like the most is tread climbing. I think
Yeah,
that has to do with tread climbing and so tread multi-pitch, but also I also like did a lot of hard multi-pitches that were sport, bolted.
yeah,
I kind of like the adventurous climbing in general. So if it's a multi-pitch with bolts far apart or a hard multi-pitch that you want to try in the mountains or in the Alps or whatever on a bigger wall, or if it's a big wall, very adventurous in Patagonia or Greenland, I like
yeah,
it. If it's some tread climbing on the sea cliffs, it's somehow adventurous as well. So I like that as well. You
yeah,
know, like no. What I do not like is, I mean, I do it, but like going to one sport climbing crack for a month, I
yeah,
get very bored. I try it to get stronger and
yeah,
to become a better climber, but I notice that I get a little bit yeah, my interest goes away. I don't like to rest so much. So all those rest days, if you're projecting a 9A or a 9A plus, you're like, oh my God, it takes so long and my skin's fucked. And
yeah,
I don't know, I prefer to just climb a lot. But
yeah. Okay, okay. So you like to do volume over like,
oh yeah,
yeah, okay,
a lot. I just project in the last years quite a lot just because I feel it pushes my climbing, and it's something I haven't done in my whole climbing career until the last 4 or 5 years. And I'm doing it now more and more just to get better, to get stronger. And projecting is actually mentally very hard. I mean,
yeah.
you deal a lot with failure, with patience, and I think that's the reason I've never really climbed super hard. Like I did 8C when I was 17, you know, and or
Bloody hell, that's good going.
yeah, like but now I climb 2 9As in my life, you know, like so I in all those I'm 33 now, so 16 years I haven't really evolved so much in pure grade like black and white. Of course I got a lot more experienced in any kind of style and in trad climbing, in adventure stuff. I mean, in scary stuff as well. But everything that's like pure hard climbing, I mean, just because I didn't like projecting for a long time, I never tried something more than 8 tries or something. I was like,
Because what?
well,
Because you got bored or because you didn't like to deal with failure?
I think no, most time it would be too easy to say I got bored. No, I
Yeah.
think it's mainly I didn't like to deal with failure. I really had a problem failing, and I still have. It's still hard for me. I do
So,
get better at it, but yeah,
so
it's
what
definitely hard.
what does failure look like? How do you perceive failure?
Investing a lot of time and not getting anything out of it,
Okay.
and I know that that's a mindset because if you invest a lot of time in something um, and you don't reach a result, like a clear result or your goal, of course you get the process out of it and you learn a lot out of it, but somehow for me it's like it's also a self-esteem thing. Like I wanted to um how would I say yeah, prove to myself that I can do it, you know. And if there's no result, I can't do it, so I'm a failure. So it's this. It's I know it's a mindset thing, but it always comes back, you know. It's always
Yeah.
so for me. I think the first times I really tried a hard route a little bit longer, and I kept failing. And the worst was like you pause the crux and you fall in the end, and then you can't pause the crux anymore of a route, and I, yeah, then I got really impatient and really angry, and yeah, I think I let go of that climbing for a while, for several years, and I got a lot into like the tread climbing, adventurous stuff, expeditions, and then 2018 something shifted. I was like, oh, I really want to get stronger again. I don't want to like arrive at the crack and not be able to climb an 8A plus or an 8B, you know, like I want my level to be 8B plus minimum all the time, you know, and
Yeah.
not like having to struggle. Yeah, so and that's for me. That's like that was like a big motivation also for hard multi-pitching. Um, I didn't want to like I wanted to like climb 80 plus 8C fluidly on a multi-pitch, you know. So
Yeah.
yeah, this was then my ambition for a while, and then I started really projecting more and got confronted with the fact that actually I cannot fail. I have a really hard time with failure, and
Yeah.
yeah, really hard on myself and very destructive. And so, but I've been working on that for several years now. Yeah,
Okay.
still
But
not completely gone, but I think I've.
yeah, I guess we all have our strengths and weaknesses, right? And
Mhm.
I guess some we have to consciously work on more. So
Yeah.
how do you deal with that?
Um, I just exposure to failure already helps.
Yeah.
Do it, but do it in like a some kind of safe environment.
Yeah.
And do it when you're or try a hard route when you're with a very good climbing partner on a trip, not with just someone you met along the road, or do it with a friend. Or I mean, this was for me really helpful to have like people close to me that I know very well while I was trying a project, because I know it moves a lot of things in me, and it goes way further than not being able to send my project at the crack. You know, it has a lot to do with self-esteem. It has a lot to do with the story you tell yourself all the time, like I'm only worth it when I send, I'm only worth it when I can do this, or you know. So you have to deconstruct those this negative talk, and I think it helps when you have good friends that also not give too much importance to climbing or to the result, but just like you and love you, you know how you
Yeah, yeah,
are.
yeah.
Talking with these kind of people is just the way they approach you, the way they connect with you, makes it a lot easier to relativate your failure, and to just say like, okay, it doesn't really matter, it's just a route.
It's just
um,
climbing, right? It's
yeah.
a it's we see this bit of rock and we go and climb it and then that's it really.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's of course not the end of the world. On the other hand, a long time, I mean, for a long time I've been saying like if someone says like it's just climbing, and I'm saying like, my answer would be like, yes, but it is my fucking life. I mean, I want it, you know,
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah, yeah,
at
yeah.
that moment, at that
Yeah.
exact moment when I'm trying a route, it's everything. I
Yeah.
want to give it all. And I think that's it becomes so important, and that's also what makes you show discipline, what it makes you go hard, what makes you fight, what makes you really want it.
Yeah.
So it's something beautiful as well. I think
Yeah,
we
yeah, yeah.
should not put that away as well, because I think showing discipline to reach results somehow is the way to develop, the way to grow. I think it really is a growth mindset. Is I want to learn, I want to grow, but I'll have to be disciplined. I have to fight for it. I have to really put time and effort in it. And
Yeah.
I think there's this magical balance in finding that mentality, showing the discipline, going hard, but at the same time also saying like, okay, at the end of the trip, I'm still the same. I mean, I'm not gonna change the world by sending this route, or like this is also important, like to know when to also let go.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think for many years I had no clue when I had to let go. And
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
go
So
into like,
how about I don't know. Only making a suggestion. How about like I guess focusing value on effort, where I guess only you know how much effort you put in when you go and climb something, right? I guess you could climb something, and um, I guess if I look at some of the stuff, I guess I climb, right? I sometimes when I climb a project, it almost feels easy at the time, and it feels um, in a way nice to be able to move on, but also disappointing that you get to the top because it didn't require that much effort in the moment. But yet beforehand, it took a lot of
Mhm.
hard work.
Exactly, yeah. So it's about, I know exactly what you mean. It's like the flow, and everyone knows it. The end of your trip, you send your project. The fourth go on the day you send your project. You're sick, you send your project. It's raining, you send your project. It's
Yeah,
like pressure is off, and suddenly you're in this flow, you're in this focus, and you just do it effortlessly. And that's like an amazing feeling. I think I understand completely what you mean, like by like, huh, shit, I did it. Wow, it's over now. Like,
Yeah.
and then I think it's really important to like try to really see the effort you put in it, and yeah, and appreciate that whole work you've put before in there, and then you also realize like, oh, actually, I learned a lot from that,
Yeah.
from the work I've put in it. Maybe not from the scent, but from the
Yeah.
process. And I mean, this is cliche, like, oh yeah, it's all about the process, not about the
Well, of
result.
course it is. It is
But
cliche.
it is.
Yeah, and the thing is, we all know it, right? We all know that it's about the process, yet we still find it really hard to kind of um, to focus on the process as opposed to the end goal.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. I've tried the downwall for 2 years. I mean, 2 years, 2 seasons.
yeah,
And wow, here I got the hardest hit in the face. It's the hardest route I've ever tried. And I did make progress, but it was so slow. It was way too slow for my impatient being. and, and it's incredible. The second year I went there, I was like, really, okay, I trained for this. I'm gonna give it another try. The only thing I want to get out of this is see where I can get, like
okay,
see the best I can do. My expectations were really low. Like I was like, okay, I just want to send every pitch until the crux pitch, and then I'm happy, you
yeah,
know. So it's 30 something pitches. Crux pitch is pitch 14, and pitch 15. If I can send 13 pitches up to there and try the crux pitch, I'd be happy, Like so, I had this really. Actually, no, I'm actually already. This is crazy. The mind is doing it already now in this conversation. This was not my expectation. My expectation actually was I want to send every pitch separately, not even in a push, just
yeah,
yeah, just separately. And if I sent the crux pitches, even better. But all the pitches before, if I sent them separately, I'd be happy.
yeah,
And slowly my expectations changed. And I was like, oh, yeah, maybe I should do a push. Maybe I should do a push and so many days get to the crux pitch. Maybe I should try the crux pitch to send it separately. Or like, you know, and then
yeah,
after 3 weeks trying it, I wanted to just do the downroll. Fuck that, Yeah, it's like, and then the pressure was so high again,
yeah,
and I completely forgot about the whole process, and I got completely lost about my expectations, and because I called with my manager Dave Yarwood, it's a British guy. He manages my contracts and projects and stuff like that. But he's also a good friend of mine, and I remember calling him after 2 weeks trying the downwall, 2 months, sorry, and saying how disappointed I was, and he's like, man, you remember what you said 2 months ago? You just wanted to send the pitches separately. That was all, You could have done that in the first 3 weeks or focused on that, and then gone to Indian Creek and do something else and enjoy your climbing as well. And like, but this is like the crazy thing how your mind works if you're so result oriented, and that's the paradigm you live by, and that's what your parents gave you, your environment gave you, your culture. Like you always fall back in this trap, like, and it's
yeah,
really hard to stop that. And I'm telling all this because you said like, yeah, we all know that. We know that the process is more important, or that we can learn, and that the result in the end it fades away in the end, which kind of result we do. But it is so hard to close that knowing doing gap, like of like, okay, now I know that I'm coming here for just the process and to learn and see where I
yeah,
get, and I have my low expectations. And before I knew my expectations were high, the process I didn't care at all. I just want to fucking send that route.
yeah,
And
yeah,
that's
yeah,
and that's the crazy thing. And I'm like, okay, where did it went wrong again? Huh? What are the signs that it goes wrong? Where
yeah,
did I start putting pressure on myself? Where did I
yeah,
forget about my expectations and my ambitions?
yeah,
So I think this is for every one of us. I think a big um, learning process to dare or to try to really just focus on the process, and to really like
yeah,
notice when you are falling in the trap of being result oriented again.
yeah. But it sounds like you've built up a lot of self-awareness to, I guess, recognize some of the patterns that you follow.
Yeah. I do a lot of self work. I mean, I go to therapists for a long time in my life already, for I don't know, 8 years or something. I
Yeah,
follow therapy for just anything. I mean, I think it's just good for any person to try to work on themselves, if it's clinical therapy, if it's trauma therapy, if it's sports psychology. I don't know, whatever you want, if
yeah,
it's if yoga works for you, it doesn't matter. But I think it's really good to work on yourself and try to recognize certain patterns, certain mindsets that you have. It's often there are blind spots, and you need someone to help you guide and show you the blind spots you have.
yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
yeah, for sure. I mean, when I was 30, 3 years ago, I thought I had it all dialed, and now I'm again like, oh shit.
Yeah.
I don't have it dialed. I fell in a
Yeah.
few traps again.
Yeah. I guess it's just normal human behavior, right? And I think it takes a lifetime to I guess it takes a lifetime of work, and even then, like you still don't get perfection, right? Whatever that might be.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, and then there's the whole fact of, um, I mean, I'm guiding our conversation here now. I don't know
That's all
if you have
right.
any
Yeah, we just go with it. That's fine.
specific, I don't know if you have any specific questions, but then I was gonna say another big topic is comparing ourselves with others.
Oh, completely. Yeah.
That's, I mean, for me, that's I've been talking a lot about putting ourselves pressure and wanting to achieve something, wanting to be something, but then an extra element on this that makes people unhappy is the comparison with others, and putting themselves not on the pedestal,
Yeah.
putting themselves down and looking up to
Yeah.
people, and always, or the worst is with peers, with people that you really compare yourself with, the people that are really coming from your same background, are having the same mindset, same education, same,
Yeah.
or more or less same, and the same grade. If you look at the grades,
Yeah.
you're not
Yeah.
going to
Yeah.
compare yourself with. I don't compare myself with Alamondra, but I compare myself with people that are having my style of climbing, that have my strengths. Like
Yeah.
those are the people I compare myself with, and
Yeah.
yeah, I think that's also good somehow. Again, in every aspect, there's a good and a bad. I mean,
Yeah.
there's too much and there's way too much, and there's
Yeah.
the right balance you have to find. And I think comparison and learning from others is good. It's good to look at how others approach projects, how they climb, how they think, how they approach it all. But then, yeah, but then there's too much of that as well. Too much of that is, yeah, putting yourself down, and all your energy goes to the other person, and
Yeah.
their
So,
performances. Yeah.
question: Who cares about what you climb?
Yeah, in the end, yeah, not so many people. I mean, who really, really cares? I don't know. I think it's, in the end, it's just me. So, yeah. So in the end, you have to do it for yourself.
Yeah.
Uh, if you really think you will be happy with a certain climb, then go for it.
But there's
But
always another grade, right? Like pe people kind
but
of go, I want to climb this number, and then they get to that number, and they're like, oh, I want to climb the next one and the next one, and they just,
course, yeah, yeah. No, no, for sure. I think only you can only overcome that habit of always wanting more or a better grade or a different grade if you really give a lot of importance to, yeah, the things you learn on the go.
yeah.
To not say process again. uh,
Yeah, I
uh,
won't see it.
yeah.
But I guess I guess where does that comparison come from, right? Like again, we go back to the educational system, and we compared to everyone in our class, right?
Hmm.
Maybe we had brothers and sisters. Our parents compared us to our brothers and sisters.
Hmm.
So like it's kind of locked in us, isn't it? And I guess also deep down, like it comes from I guess confidence, right? we feel the need to compare to others, and I guess if we feel we climb maybe a higher grade than somebody else, it might gives us a boost in confidence.
Mhm.
If we compare ourselves to other people who climb higher grades, then I guess it affects our confidence.
Yeah,
It, yeah,
no, exactly. Yeah, yeah. I think this is hard. Yeah, you have to. It is definitely embedded in our in our educational system, and I think that's something we have to rewrite when we're an adult.
yeah,
It'd be nice to change that. And I think definitely a lot of parents nowadays they try to do it differently, um, which I think is very good.
yeah,
But it's still embedded in our educational system in general and in our culture.
yeah.
So it's
Yeah, yeah. I guess I got two kids, a 16-year-old and a 14-year-old, nearly 14-year-old. Yeah, and the I think everybody knows the schooling system is messed up really. The teachers know it, the parents know it. I'm not sure the politicians do, but nobody's changing it.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so I guess as a parent, we have to try and do the best we can and try and change some of that. Yet, like they spend 7 hours, 8 hours a day in their waking hours at school.
hmm
So there's
That's a lot.
a lot of stuff to undo.
Uh-huh. Yeah, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, yeah. Um, yeah, so I guess what is it that you're attracted to in big walling?
Mm, good. Yeah, good question. Like I said before, I think the adventure I like about it, and I'm a workhorse. I like it. I like to work really hard. Somehow it
Yeah,
gives me so much easy, quick satisfaction in climbing. Like of course I like to climb light and fast as well because you can also give it all. But I kind of like the being on the wall, the vibe, the disconnection of the world as well. It
yeah.
depends where you are. In Yosemite, you have better connection on the wall on El Cap than in the valley in Camp 4. So if you wanna watch a Netflix series, you have to just put your ledge up on some kind of big wall in on El Cap, and you just check Netflix easy.
Really? Yeah,
Good.
I know. It's strange, isn't it? In the valley, down in the valley, the reception's quite bad, and then as soon as you get up on the
Uh,
wall, like, yeah, signal just goes up, 4G,
it's
5G.
it's fucking hilarious. But anyway, so yeah, what I'm really searching for on big walling is yeah the this connection, the height, like being on like vertically living on the wall. It's something that gives me yeah some kind of I kind of like it. Like it's very simple somehow.
Yeah,
It's like this is my place now, and I don't have much option besides being here and trying to get up. Like it's very one directional.
yeah, 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 up, right?
Upright. I mean, I kind of like
Hopefully
it.
up.
We have so much stimulus, so much possibility to choose different things in life and in our day-to-day life. And then on the wall, definitely on an expedition, it's like, okay, team, let's prepare, and we go there.
Yeah,
And that's what I like about it. It's somehow very, of course, it's somehow complex. I mean, to get there, it can get really complex. Weather, your bags, your luggage, rope stuff. I mean rockfall, glaciers, all that stuff comes in there. But like the goal is very simple.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
And
yeah,
for me, that's something that attracts me. And then just the fun of being on the wall with some friends, and
yeah,
yeah, I kind of love it. And the
yeah,
excitement of climbing really high above the ground, the excitement of finding route finding as well. Like that's it's really something I love.
yeah,
Um,
yeah. So you like climbing with friends? Eh,
yeah.
well, apart from your recent posts, that is you climbing by yourself.
On myself, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
That's quite funny because I'm giving a lot of slideshows about the importance of community and the importance of um yeah, sharing the experience and
Yeah.
learning from each other, and at the same time I'm doing a lot of rope soloing lately. It's
Yeah.
really funny because it's something new, and I am mostly attracted for the the technical part of it, the
Okay.
strategical part. I really like that, and I love efficiency,
Okay.
like being quick and efficient. I really love that, and honestly, people tell me like, "Oh, yeah, it's so much work and you're slower," and I'm like, "No, no, I'm actually quicker if I climb on my own this way.
Okay.
Like I jog way quicker up a route, up a pitch than someone else climbs it. So if I jog up, yeah, it's half the time of them that someone would climb the pitch, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah,
So just for the audience, it's rope soloing. So you're climbing with a rope by yourself. Yeah. So what
and
system
yeah,
do
and
you use?
yeah, and the system or the strategies you climb up, you make a knot in the middle or in the end of the rope, and then you climb with a gree or I climb with a pinch from Edelrit, and then you climb up and you give yourself slack as along you go. You go to the upper to the next
Pitch?
anchor, then you
Anchor, yeah.
fix yeah you fix your nut, you rappel down, you undo the nut down, and then you jug up. And that's what I was saying. Normally people say like, wow, but you do every distance 3 times, you know,
Yeah.
one climbing, one wrapping, and then one jogging up again. But honestly, like wrapping down is so quick and jogging up goes so quick as well. And that was what I was saying. I go most time quicker than any climbing partner
What
goes.
what's what's that saying about your climbing partners?
No, it is quicker.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
mean,
yeah, yeah.
not me, but like someone who knows how to jog, knows how to do the systems. It just quicker.
Yeah, yeah. I
Um,
guess you get into real flow, right? You get into the
yeah,
flow where you're just doing.
exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah. And I don't know, when you arrive at the anchor and you have to pull the rope, make your install your anchor as well and stuff, and then belay your partner. That's and your partner has to put his shoes back on, and I don't
yeah,
know, and
yeah,
you haul a bag, and all this time as well is quite often also time that I mean it takes quite some time, you know, climbing with two. Um,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
it
yeah,
depends what kind of strategy. It depends which kind of route as well. I'm just looking now at like hard multi pitches or something. That's or even short ones. But if you climb sixth grade or fifth grade and it's a bit slabby, that's maybe different. Then with a climbing partner, you're quicker. Yeah,
yeah. Okay. Yeah.
that's a difference.
Does it not get lonely?
Yeah, but then yeah, coming back to the whole lonely part. Honestly, like the best multi pitch like, I mean, the most incredible experience was this route on the left of Orbaio in Pico Reyo. Um, fuck the El Pilar del Cantabrio. It's like an 8-day plus. Yes, it is 20 pitches or
Okay.
something like that.
Yeah.
I kind of forgot how much. Yeah, so something like that. And it's yeah, it's super long, and it took me 12 hours. Um, but it was on my own. I did it on my own. I had to do 2 tries in the 8-day plus, or 3 tries even in the 8-day plus. The rest I all sent straight away.
Yeah.
But it was so magical. It was like the mist coming up, and sometimes I was in the mist. I didn't even see the anchor. I saw two quick draws above me, two quick draws below me, but then I was just climbing in the fog, like wow, so beautiful, and it was so magical on my own
Yeah.
there. And and I have to say, like it's really scary because I'm such a like you can hear in this last hour we've been talking. I'm talkative, you know, and I want to share things. I want to communicate. I want to touch base. I want to, yeah, I want to share my feeling and how my partner is feeling. And I don't know, I'm very communicative. And so for me, it's a big challenge to do things on my own. I'm
Yeah.
not such a, I've always lived in co-housing. I always been with people. I've always lived in my van and been traveling with other people that are traveling in their van. I mean, I'm really give a lot of importance to the community, but so it's really out of my comfort zone to go on my own. And I think that's also the other thing that really attracts me about it, you know, because I don't have the I don't have the excuse of like uh yeah, finding I don't know, like how do you call it? Like I'm emotionally dependent on just myself, and I
Yeah,
cannot make myself emotionally dependent on others,
yeah.
Um,
That's
by
quite hard.
yeah, yeah,
It's a tough place to be, right? Because
yeah,
you're in your head.
yeah. You're in your head. You're just with yourself,
Yeah,
and I think for me that's something. Yeah, it really learns me a lot. It teaches me a lot to be on my own on the wall. Like I think it's yeah, it's very enriching because it's a whole other approach than how I normally approach climbing. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Uh, and I know it's like I think I've done a little bit of soloing, rope soloing, and I love the systems. I love getting in the routines of stuff. Um, but there are times when I then look at people climbing in a two or a three and then become jealous. And I'm like, I want to be that. I don't want to be on my own anymore.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Oh, that's so funny. Yeah.
Yeah.
What makes you why are you so jealous? What's the thing that you're jealous on?
I guess I think lockdown has really um, shown the importance to me about community and friends. And I could go climbing and have a great experience, but I realized that experience would be so much better with friends. Uh,
Yeah.
because for me, I guess climbing's my job, climbing's like my whole thing, but like my friends in climbing are so important to me.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's beautiful to share, of course, and to get feedback on climbing, on experience you share together. It's cool to look back. Like otherwise, an experience lived on your own is very can be very lonely in the future as well, or can disappear.
Yeah.
It's hard
Yeah.
to bring up memories just on your own. Like, hey, do you know how you
Yeah.
were there? Oh yeah, no, I was climbing solo. Yeah, never mind. Let's forget about it.
Yeah. I like climbing and just taking the mickey out of my friends and them taking the mickey out of me. So
Yeah,
not taking it too seriously, right? Because
yeah.
it's
You're from the UK, born in.
yeah. Well, so it's taken me a long time. So when I moved to the UK, the one thing I really struggled with was sarcasm. Uh, and it's something that I now love. I didn't understand it because I was a very literal person. So
Uh-huh.
when people were joking with me, um, I in my head I was thinking, I can't believe these people are saying that to me. Like that's not nice. So
That's how I feel when I'm in the UK with everyone.
yeah, yeah,
Those
yeah, I
people are
know.
just not nice.
Yeah, and I know
Making fun of me all the time.
it took me quite a while to get used to sarcasm, and I now love it. Um, and I realized that English men find it really hard to say I like you or I love you as a friend. So instead, they pick your weakness and they make jokes about your weakness non-stop, and that's the way they show their love to you.
That's so nice. Next time I'm in the UK and I'll be, I don't know, with Pete Whittaker or Tom Randall or something, and they're taking the piss. I'm just gonna hug them. Like, it's okay, Pete. I know you love me. I know you love me. And
Yeah, but
he's gonna be like,
I
what
think
the fuck?
yeah, if they're British, they might struggle with the physical contact.
Oh yeah, yeah, for sure.
See,
I have a good friend.
growing up in Belgium, like so used to like when you see someone, you kiss them. Like men and
Mhm.
women do that, right? And in the UK, when you meet someone, you're never quite sure what to do. So, like,
Yeah.
people don't know when do we shake hands? Is that too formal? Do we give hugs? When do we kiss? Maybe we never kiss because kissing is a bit too intimate. So
Yeah.
it's always like a Mexican standoff. So you never quite know. So you're just guessing.
I love you guys. You're hilarious. I mean, those British. Oh my God. Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm actually. I mean, there is a big chance I'm going to Pembroke in August.
Are
Um,
you?
pretty excited. Yeah.
Okay, who are you going with?
Probably with Jim Pope. I mean, we're having plans, and he's psyched, and he'll be in Europe before that, and yeah, he was psyched to join as well.
Okay, cool.
Maybe I'll take some Frenchies with me as well. We can laugh with the Frenchies and the UK people. Uh, all
Cool.
nice.
Well, just yeah, I don't know. Stick it on social media when you're going to be up there because I do often work over in Pembrokeshire.
Ah,
Yeah,
nice. Yeah,
it's a cool
definitely.
place, man. Have you ever been?
No, never.
Oh
That's
man,
I
it's
really love to go.
stunning place.
Mhm.
Amazing sea cliff climbing, very adventurous, and the coastline is just endless.
Wow.
Just yeah, just
Seems
need
incredible.
the right weather.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll go with the van and just hang out there.
Yeah. Yeah, cool, man. There's some cool projects. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, stuff way above my pay grade, but it's a cool place.
So nice.
Yeah. I guess like how do you stay motivated when you're um how do you stay motivated when you're on a big wall somewhere and you're exhausted and physically tired and yeah, having to try and get into your send mode?
It's really funny, but I've never been demotivated on a big wall.
Okay.
I think when it's too easy, I lose interest or something. When there's not enough hard pitches or something, when it goes too quick, then I'm
Yeah.
like, oh, let's get this over with and do something else.
Yeah.
But like waiting in bad weather and all that kind of stuff, that is not really affecting my motivation much.
Okay.
I mean, I can complain about rain and about sitting too long in a portage, but in my, like deep in myself, I'm like, yeah, but I'm devoted to stay here. I'm gonna fucking go until we reach the summit. Like
Yeah.
that's I never had like my biggest downs in motivation are mainly when I'm sport climbing or training for too long, or then I can have a down in motivation. Yeah, but
Yeah.
then
Okay.
on a big wall, no, never.
No. Okay. So, uh, I guess like a lot of the stuff that you've been saying, I guess you like to try hard. You like to give it your all, and yeah.
I was thinking maybe on the down wall. Yeah, there I got demotivated just
Okay.
because it felt so unreachable at certain moments. That it's like, oh, unreachable and also lonely a little
Yeah.
bit. I think I could like it's this big project. Even if you share moments with partners on the wall and stuff, the project itself feels overwhelming and kind of lonely, because
Yeah.
you're just there. It's your project. You have to send everything, so
Yeah.
it is a bit of an approach of climbing that I do not like that much.
Okay.
Um,
So
yeah.
did you climb the first 13 pitches?
No,
No.
never. Yeah, I didn't. I mean, I sent up to pitch 7, so it's the first 80 plus,
Okay.
and then I made incredible good links in all the others, and I'm pretty sure that separately, if I put the time in it, I could have sent them separately, but I never put the time in it to send them. I only like tried bits, and then went down to try a push.
Yeah.
So that was a bit the strategy, not to like be completely exhausted before doing a push,
Yeah.
or like cut your fingers fighting and trying to send and stuff, and really
Yeah.
keep the fighting for when you do a push. But then, yeah, for me, I'm not sure if that strategy worked so well. I think it's just important to fight whenever I climb. I think instead of like really aiming for perfection all the time, because it's so slow. It's also less my climbing style.
Yeah, and I guess when you're climbing something that is at your absolute limit at that time,
Mhm.
it does require, I guess, perfection, right? You need to climb
Mhm.
something perfectly. Every handhold or body movement or foothold has to be exactly, I guess, to be able to reach.
Yes, and honestly, yes and no, like because I think that's one of the mistakes I made wanting to go too much. So our strategy always was trying the pitches separately and
Yeah.
then go like until you got it all very dialed, all the beta, but without having to send any pitches. You just like say take and you go into perfection, and sometimes you make a little bit of links to like start to know like, oh, can I do this move when I'm tired or not? But it was never the goal while working the route in sending pitches separately. I mean, before I said that was my goal,
Yeah.
but that was my intermediate goal, and then it changed. Then suddenly I wanted
Yeah.
to do a push. So with the push in mind, you're never gonna focus on sending it separately. And separately I mean you jog on the static lines, you try the pitch 10 and 11. You try it a little bit, like you try to send half of it, or but you try to save your skin, save your energy
Yeah.
for later on the long term.
Yeah.
um, and I think the fact that I was over focused in getting every move, everything perfectly dialed, I never really got into my fighting mode. I didn't learn how to really fight on that wall.
Okay.
And then you're doing the push, and it's really hard to like switch to this fighting mode, like giving it all.
Okay.
And I think, and next time, and I talked to Tommy about this as well, and for example, yeah, he did fight every try he gave it. And maybe not in the hardest pitches, but like it did send the pitches separately as well. Yeah, like so at least that helps you as well. Like, oh, I sent it already, and this is how it felt when I was fighting, and you familiarize mentally as well with the feeling of being 40 meters high in a long dihedral pitch and having to do the crux move at the very end.
Yeah.
So it's a lot less pressure when you're in the push because you know that you can do it. Yeah.
Yeah. So do you ever climb I guess do you ever climb it and like give it everything you've got and having to really fight to get to the top?
You mean on the downwell?
No, or in any climb.
In general, yeah. I mean, I think my best sense yeah, my best sense were like that. And most time it's when I'm tired already, and it's on a multi pitch when I
Yeah.
really give it all. Like now I'm like, wow, I really over because I think with that fighter, it's a mixture between fighting and being smart.
Yeah.
Projecting. I think it's important to get it all dialed and be perfectionist, but at the same time, you need to know when to put your fighting spirit on. I know so many 9A plus climbers that I think they never fought in their life.
Really?
They're just all in like this perfection and
Yeah.
smoothness, and I'm like, wow, if you really fight, you can
Yeah.
be fucking strong.
Yeah.
Like I think I see so many strong climbers that have this limit put on themselves just because they can completely fight.
Yeah.
um
I love a fight. I love a fight. My technique and like everything else needs working,
yeah, yeah,
but I love a fight. Yeah.
yeah. No,
Makes
that's amazing.
Yeah, it makes me I don't know. I think there's something about it, right? Where you're having to you're just barely holding on and like it doesn't for me, it doesn't matter whether I send a route or not. I just love like even if it's one or two moves where I'm just barely holding on
Hmm.
and something, yeah, just like I like the effort, the focus in that moment of barely holding on and just making something that I didn't think I could.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, cool.
yeah,
That's
it's
so
cool.
nice.
Yeah, and I think something you mentioned that a lot of people, a lot of 9A climbers are not fighting.
Hmm.
Yeah, I guess it's maybe like I've got a friend who is like that, who's technically super strong climber, but uh, like never quite gets to that fighting moment.
Hmm. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And I
And
think,
yeah, for some it works and some are happy with it. But then from an outside perspective, you're like, wow, if you put that crazy fight on, I think you can push it more.
yeah.
But it's fine if they like the performance in perfection a bit more.
But it's
Yeah.
uncomfortable, isn't it? It's uncomfortable to get into that mindset.
Yeah, it's also insecure if you're so used to be in control all the time, and then you're like always pushing out of control and stepping on footholds and pushing really hard, but not properly positioning yourself and not knowing if you can do the move and just throwing yourself and like some people just don't like that style, they want to keep
Yeah,
doing it.
yeah,
And some climbs demand perfection so much more than others, of course. But
yeah,
still there's all I think there's always room for fighting.
yeah, yeah. There is always, yeah. So, would you ever go back to the Dawn Wall?
For the moment, I paused it a little bit. I think I really need some adventurous climbing again,
Yeah,
and I'm so psyched for yeah, like I say, Pembroke, thread climbing. I want to get stronger again, just sport climbing. I mean, I'm training right now quite a lot, and I really want to exact like what I was saying. Like I really want to try to learn how to project, show a bit more patience. Like I
yeah,
want to climb more 9A. I want to climb a 9A plus. That's a bit my goal. And at the same time, I'm trying in between to put a few expeditions in there as well. Of course, I want to do too much. I know climbing 9A plus and going on expedition, they don't go together very well.
yeah.
Um, but yeah, in the long term, I think that's a bit my in the long term, in the next 3 years or something. That's a bit my vision now. I have a few routes I want to do in Patagonia still, and I have a trip I want to make to Pakistan as well next summer. So
Okay.
I'm really psyched
The
for that.
Karakoram range.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Cool, man.
for sure. Yeah,
Cool. Exciting stuff.
so much good big walls to go. I think that's another thing. Hard big walls on in high altitudes. I think that's there's so much to explore still. Free
Yeah,
climbing, like free climbing big walls in high altitude. I think
yeah.
that's. I mean, there's none in the Karakoram. I'm not sure if there's any 8A plus 8B multi-pitch. Like I
Don't
mean, we
know.
have Eternal Flame is 7C plus. I mean, is there even 8A? I mean, there is definitely that grade in route, but it's never been freed.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, really excited about
I guess
opening
it's
some.
just to go out and have a look, right? See
Yeah,
what's there. So
yeah,
big,
yeah.
endless rocks to climb.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Um, so I think I know someone who probably does want to climb the Dawn Wall, but I'm not sure because he didn't say. Jorg Verhoeven, maybe.
Yeah, 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 for
Maybe.
sure.
Yeah.
He definitely should go and try it. I think he'd be a really good candidate.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Maybe she could partner up. So, a couple of more questions, and then I'll let you go. Um, I guess what are your mental strengths in climbing, apart from your motivation, your endless supply of motivation?
um, I think my mental strength in climbing is really the devotion to give it all,
Yeah,
um, to fight at moments that are difficult. I think that's my biggest mental strength. Yeah.
yeah.
I can also stay quite calm in more dangerous environments, or
Okay.
like that is when it's more scary. Or it wasn't like that in the past though. But yeah, I think can stay quite calm. Then I mean, of course, I cannot stay quite calm if I'm confronted with failure all the time. I quit
Yeah,
myself. I can get kind of nervous, and that's definitely my weakness. Then like being impatient, being angry on myself,
yeah,
being hard on myself. Um, but then, yeah, my strength is definitely yeah giving it all on an onsite. I'm definitely onsiting. I'm pretty good at. I'd say in sport climbing or tread or yeah.
okay.
Um, I'm definitely in adventurous terrain. Yeah,
Yeah, okay. So you like going for the unknown.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Fully. It
Yeah,
somehow it puts me into a better mental state of flow or easier into a flow. Like for example, my two good friends, James Pearson and Caroline Chevaldini,
yeah,
they always say like, man, it's crazy how you climb almost the same grade on a big wall as you do on your in your in on sport climbing in a good environment, you know.
Yeah.
Like of course I climb 9A in sport, but like my main level is like 88 C plus. And on a big wall or like on a multi pitch, I don't know, I somehow climbed that grade almost easier than the sport climb. Like just because I don't know, it's the setting, it's the flow, it's the excitement of trying to do it in a day or whatever, you know, or link it up with all the other pitches that makes me very focused and very devoted, and I fight even harder. And yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Dig
Same with trad
deeper.
climbing.
Yeah.
Like
Okay.
very trad climb, I suddenly push it all out. Like I'm very like yeah, I'm a lot stronger. It's really funny.
Okay.
Um, yeah,
Why is that?
I don't know. I think it's as when there's more like time pressure. For example, a multi pitch, you want to try, or like there's a bit more pressure because of the yeah, you do five hard pitches and then you have to send the crux pitch. I mean, that's some pressure sometimes, you know, or
Yeah.
like weather is rolling in, or you're 7 meters above your last piece of gear, or I don't know. It makes me get into a state of flow a little bit
Uh,
quicker. Yeah,
so you like that external pressure?
I think so. I
Yeah.
mean, it's external pressure that I cannot change, you know.
Yeah.
It are things that I have not in control, so I have to fight against that as well.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
makes I don't take it personal. I'm like, if I fail now, it's not my mistake. I gave it all, you know.
Yeah.
And this I kind of like, you know,
Yeah.
things. Yeah. While in a perfect environment, in a sport climb in Spain, I can choose whenever I go. I can, you eat well, you sleep well. I mean, I don't know. There's almost no excuse. It's all your fucking fault if you fail.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I know this is also a wrong mindset. I shouldn't be thinking about that because, of course, conditions can be bad. Your skin can be bad. Um, but still, it's this. Yeah, I don't know. I do believe it's this environment of adventure, of like unknown and things I don't control that make it easier to get into a state of flow.
Okay. Cool. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Um, I guess I was going to ask you what is your mental weakness, but I guess you mentioned dealing with failure, right?
Yeah, yeah, it's definitely my weakness. Yeah, yeah. I think
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
I
yeah,
can be as motivated and as pushy as I can be on the positive side. I can also be very destructive on the negative side, you know, or self-destructive in the sense of like negative self-talk. And yeah, I mean, I'm dealing with it. I'm knowing how to deal with it now,
yeah,
slowly. Like,
yeah.
but of course, it happens still. Yeah.
Yeah, 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 yeah. I think we all have stuff that we need to deal with, right? I think
Mhm.
one of the things that I try and I guess teach people, and I guess what one of the things that helps me in my head game in climbing is I guess is self-awareness, is taking the time to figure out what patterns that my mind follows. Because if you understand the patterns your mind follows through building the self-awareness, I guess you can understand what you need to change. Um,
Mhm.
yeah, and for me, that's a constantly thinking about what happened on that route. What do I need to do differently? What was my mindset like? Like, is there anything I can change? Was there fear involved? I know what's going through my head that prevented me from like climbing at my physical ability.
hmm Yeah, and also I think also noticing when you're on the wrong path or when you're entering a self-destructive path again, or of negative talk, or I think noticing like, okay, yeah, ooh, this is again this talk. These are the same words I'm using against myself. These are the same phrases I'm using now, and like, fuck, I suck, and like, oh, I did this wrong, and I did this wrong, and like, no, wait, what did you do good? What was the positive part of it? You know, like trying
Yeah,
to really on in the action change. Of course, you need to notice first
yeah.
that you're entering a negative path of self-talk. But yeah, I think this for me is like sometimes it works, sometimes not.
Yeah, but it's time, isn't it? It's just the more time you spend on something, the better you get at it.
hmm
Um, And like it again, like I said earlier, I think it's a lifetime's work, isn't it? Um, and
Exactly.
you're trying to change an old habit, which again takes a lot of time. There was a I read a statement. I don't know how true it was. There's a psychologist that said that to create a new habit, you need to practice it continuously for 66 days.
Ah, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, which like if you put it into hours, it's around 228 hours
Jesus.
of
Yeah.
practice. That's which is quite a lot, right?
And then it's about a habit of like thinking, like, or what?
So yeah, it's like a habit, like a doing habit or a thinking habit.
Yeah.
So I guess I took 66 days and I said, well, if you're going to sleep 8 hours and you're going to
Yeah.
do other things for 8 hours, that leaves 8 hours in a day
Of
times
course.
66 days is 528 hours.
Wow.
That's a lot of time, right?
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow. Okay, yeah, cool. I'll try that.
Yeah.
Next
Let me know how
project.
you get on. Yeah. So hopefully by the time that you come to Pembrokeshire, that should be
I should
66
be
days,
fixed.
eh?
Yeah.
Cool, man. I guess I'll ask one more question and I'll let you go. Um, any advice that you could give any other climbers about any mental aspect in climbing?
Uh, yeah. I mean, first of all, it's try to be self-reflective. I mean, I think that's the and try to learn from every project. Exactly what you said before. Like look back on how you approached it and how you what were your thoughts before you did a send try. What were your thoughts before you stepped in your car and were driving to the crack to try the project or I think really try to be self-reflective and like go over the steps you made before and try to analyze them critically without judging. I think it's good to put a critical eye on how we think, but not judging.
Yeah.
And I think that's yeah, for me that's one of the biggest things. Like, okay, am I judging or am I just trying to learn now? Like really trying to yeah defer the two. And for me it's a lot about also talking. Like I mean, but that's me, like I'm quite uh an extrovert and I like to share and to talk, to learn to people, and to open up and to show some vulnerability and show that I was stressed, talk about it, that I was having doubts. And I think that's kind of cool. You don't have to like search for answers in someone else, but I think it's nice to vocalize it. And for me that really helps already to connect better with my fears, my feelings, and then also yeah, people are interesting, people have interesting things to say.
Yeah.
It's nice to have feedback from someone. So for me feedback on my mental process is quite nice. And I feel yeah, sometimes you can feel judged, but that's like, I mean, that's maybe the sign that they're hitting a blind spot or something, or that that the
Yeah.
feedback is very true,
That's
or
the ego coming into play, right?
that's the ego. Yeah, exactly. I mean, oh wow, we didn't talk about the ego yet. What a big thing.
Well, you can talk about ego if you like.
Yeah, no, I mean it is an important element in climbing and in any kind of sports that's sometimes in the way. And I mean, it's a strength, but at the same time, it can also be a weakness. I think I think the main thing that helped me is trying to actively reflect on my climbs, the climbs I did, and try to actively change as well. Uh, your definitely your way of thinking or negative thoughts, negative words that you use. Um, Writing really helps for me, and writing about the positive stuff, only the positive stuff. So
Yep.
you do 3 tries in a day. I just take my phone and after every try, I write down what went well.
Yep.
Super objective, very objective, nothing objective in the sense of like, oh yeah, I had this hold better, I touched this hold better, I had my pinky on it this time, super clean, or placing the piece of gear was super quick, or yeah, like the real details, like just
Yeah.
focus on that. And that actually subconsciously it will help because the next try you will touch that hold again with the pinky on it and it will be like, yeah, I did it again. And, it
Yeah,
gives you
yeah,
self-confidence, like, and I think that's really important. And so if you do 3 tries in a day, every try I write down what went well, and maybe also a bit the feelings like, oh yeah, I was in this flow in the start, and then when you were like, but then I started thinking my foot was not good. uh then this you don't write down,
yeah, 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 okay.
you just leave that, forget about it,
Yeah,
forget about the failures, like completely forget about it. Your mind will forget really if you don't repeat it.
yeah,
If you
yeah,
repeat the positive things, you will not forget the positive things. You will be focused on what went well.
yeah,
For
yeah,
me, that's a thing I really like as well.
yeah, yeah. No, I appreciate that. Yeah, I think that's a great idea. Um, I think we love self-criticism, right?
Hmm.
Society, yeah. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
focusing on the positives. Cool. Thanks, Siebe. Appreciate
Yeah.
your
Thanks.
time.
Yeah. No. No. Thank you.
Thank you all for listening. This was the Climb and Flow podcast and interview with Siebe Vanhee. Hope you enjoyed it. If you have any suggestions on topics you'd like us to cover, or any people you'd like us to interview, please send us a message on social media or send us an email and we will answer that as soon as we can. See you next time.